इंसान कहीं भी पहुंच जाए, उसको अपनी औकात नहीं भूलनी चाहिए। मुझे अपनी औकात पता है, मैं बहुत छोटा सा आदमी हूं, मेरी बहुत छोटी सी औकात है। इस देश का एक एक आम आदमी टैक्स देता है, गरीब से गरीब आदमी टैक्स देता है। ये भूल गए कि उनकी गाड़ी और उनका बंगला उस गरीब आदमी के टैक्स से चलते हैं। तो बस इतनी जगह लूंगा मैं, इतना ही बड़ा मकान लूंगा और बड़ा मकान नहीं लूंगा, चिंता मत करो।
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. You just heard the Delhi Chief Minister, Mr. Arvind Kejriwal, saying that he is a chota sa aadmi, an aam aadmi, who doesn't need a big house. Chota sa makan chahiye bas. Those were his exact words. But today, this Aam Aadmi, who once swore to live a life of simplicity and austerity, seems to have been totally waylaid by the high life of power and the corridors of power. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, Arvind Kejriwal has spent not one, not two, not 3 or 5 or 10. He spent 45 crore rupees on the renovation of his chief ministerial bungalow in Delhi. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, it's a 45 crore secret that has been uncovered by Times Now Navbharat, and these are the documents that I hold in my hand. Times Now Navbharat's investigation, our sister channel, just a fledgling small sister channel, Times Now Navbharat, has done an investigation and got these bills and work orders of amazing expenditure that has been incurred on the chota sa aukat wala ghar for the chief minister. Today, this super exclusive on the Newshour tonight, we'll show you how the Aam Aadmi in Delhi has been tricked and literally shown a different version of what the Aam Aadmi Party set out to be. It's no longer an armed chief minister. It is a khas, kattar, imandar chief minister who has spent 45 crore on the renovation of his bungalow. This at a time when COVID was at the peak. The expenditure list is from September of 2020, when this city, the entire country, was facing the worst pandemic in a century. When people were sitting in a lockdown, when all workers had to leave the capital and go home to their villages, when huge politics was made about daily wagers having to leave the city. At that time, construction activity was going on and bills were being cleared. Bills worth crores and crores of rupees. Even during the Delta wave of COVID, when the Aam Aadmi was scrambling for oxygen, for beds and medicines, and Mr. Kejriwal was calling out the centre, saying that they didn't have a proper oxygen strategy, raising questions. At the same time, there was renovation activity of crores that was going on in his own house. But the Delhi Chief Minister was busy building his mansion. Let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, the 45 crore rupees, the whopping 45 crore rupees was spent to renovate and beautify the 6 Flagstaff Road residence of Mr. Arvind Kejriwal. Nearly 3 crore rupees were splurged. In fact, even more than that, about 4 crore rupees was splurged in getting, yes, marble from Vietnam, called Dior Pearl White Marble from Vietnam, which costed crores of rupees, and polishing just 1,000 square feet of that marble, square meters of that marble, costed about 21 lakh rupees. And this was granted by the PW department. PWD department, which just incidentally falls under the supervision of the Chief Minister himself, or so we are being told. Approximately 21 lakh rupees, 60,000 was spent on just polishing this Vietnamese marble. 1.97 crore was spent on extra marble work that was required because this 1.15 crore marble was not enough. And not just marble. Take a look at those documents. Curtains. Curtains costed, total of 23 curtains in the house costed about 1 crore of rupees. Again, sanctioned by the PWD department. 8 curtains at 45 lakh rupees and 58,000, and another 15 curtains at about 51,000 rupees. Is this what Aam Aadmi spends on curtains? Only Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal can clarify. Let me also remind you, ladies and gentlemen, this whole kharcha on the beautification of Arvind Kejriwal's house was done with the taxpayers' money. The Delhi Chief Minister did not have to spend a dime on this renovation. It was a home for the Chief Minister after all. Carpets costed nearly 20 lakh rupees. Not just that, superior quality inner work costed about 11.3 crores. Superior quality. Paneled walls, there were superior quality pillars, all of that together, if the bills add up to about 11 crores plus. All of them are here, all between 2020 and 2022 when COVID was raging. And not just that, there were wardrobes, there was kitchens, in fact 2 kitchens, one on the ground floor, one on the first floor. And the kitchen costed together 63 lakhs, 31 lakhs on the ground floor, 32 lakhs on the top floor, 63 lakhs, there the figures on your screen, almost 64 lakh rupees, just on 2 kitchens. That's the kind of extravagance. And not very cheap, 40 lakh rupees was spent on wardrobes in his house. The dresser in the bedrooms for the family costed 40 lakh rupees. Toilets, top of the art. I mean, you could be actually looking at these fittings and these costings. It could be out of any interior decoration magazine, top of the line. Which is why Operation Sheesh Mahal has sent tremors in political circles. Listen in to how the Aam Aadmi Party is defending itself while the Congress and the BJP have really sharpened their knives, which are now all out in public domain. Listen in.
75 साल से भी ज्यादा पुराना, 80 साल पुराना मकान था. इस मकान को तोड़ के नया बयाना बनाया जाए, तब दिल्ली सरकार के पीडब्ल्यू ने तोड़ के मकान को नया बनाया. ये पहली चीज. माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी आदरणीय नरेंद्र मोदी जी का जो मकान है वो फिर से बनाया जा रहा है. उस घर को बनाने का एस्टीमेट लगभग 500 करोड़ रुपए का है. एस्टीमेट से लगभग 2 गुना 3 गुना पैसा खर्च होता है और तमाम अनुमान ये लगाए जा रहे हैं कि प्रधानमंत्री जी के निवास स्थान को बनाने के लिए 1500 करोड़ रुपए खर्च होंगे. सुन लीजिए, 1500 करोड़ रुपए खर्च होंगे.
जब से केजरीवाल ने अपना सादगी का, सरलता का, ईमानदारी का ढोंग चलाया था 2012-13 से, इसकी हकीकत हम लोगों को पता थी. कम से कम मुझे तो बहुत करीबी से पता थी और मुझे मालूम था कि किसी न किसी समय इस आदमी का सच सामने आएगा. देखिए, दुर्भाग्य की बात है.
जिसने वादा किया था दिल्ली की जनता और देश की जनता से, वो किया नहीं. आम आदमी पार्टी रखा. रिनोवेशन पर करोड़ों करोड़ का खर्चा, शराब घोटाला, भ्रष्टाचार की दलदल, तो ये अब उनके असली चेहरे खुल रहे हैं.
So the legitimate question we are asking on the Newshour tonight, can Khas CM justify this splurge on renovation? That's the question, and that's the debate that's coming up on the other side.
You're watching the Newshour at 9. Debate number 1 on Times Now, Super Prime Time.
And joining me on the debate tonight, Meenakshi Lekhi, Union Minister of State for External Affairs, also with us. Gaurav Bhatia, National Spokesperson of the BJP. Raghav Chadda, Member of Parliament of the Aam Aadmi Party. Mr. Ajay Maken of the Congress, former Minister. Also, Ishkaran Bhandari, political analyst, and Tehseen Poonawala, political analyst. But my first question goes to Meenakshi Lekhi. Meenakshi Lekhi, Operation Sheesh Mahal shows 45 crore rupee that has been spent by the Aam Chief Minister for his khas bungalow. How do you respond to this kind of expenditure, which the Aam Aadmi Party says is on the official residence, which is not in his name, which is the official residence, which will stay a Chief Minister's bungalow for whoever becomes the Chief Minister?
All I can say is that splurging public money on personal luxury living is absolutely immoral and unethical. The fact is, the CM of Delhi is one person who said that he's Aam Aadmi and is going to give up all the security, the cars, the vehicles, the things which are normally available to somebody who's running an office of the Chief Minister. He came to power giving people of Delhi that dream of honesty and uprightness. Now imagine 45 lakhs on I don't think it's such a big property where 45 crores could be spent, number one. Number two, 4 places you see superior marble, superior flooring, superior contractor, a consultant, superior interior. I think the use of superior showcases inferior character, sticks of a person who's spending public money. It showcases inferior governance. It showcases immoral, unethical value, which are again inferior values, and inferior characteristics of a person that you could splurge on public money, especially during COVID, when people did not know whether there is going to be a life next day, next moment or not. And that is the time when you splurge on public money for your personal gains. That is the problem. You know, if it was self-earned money, you spend it whichever way, wherever, it's fine. But using a certain quality of marble only on interiors, it's not that a new building is getting constructed or some such thing, but on children's wardrobes, you're spending that kind of money. On parents' wardrobes, you're spending that kind of money. And person happened to be a government officer who came to power saying that he's honest and upright. I'm sure we all know that how people with certain earnings live, but how public people have to live on public money. So the problem is not on spending money, but the problem is spending whose money. If it was your self-earned money, you could do whatever you want. But this is public money, and the timing is so odd when people of Delhi, the migrant labor, etc., were getting thrown out of Delhi by this very government. And I remember that day when all of us were crying and trying to hold those people back into Delhi, and that's between 2020 and 22, this kind of money which has been spent. You know it, I know it, that in 45 crore, you can actually buy a property in South Delhi.
Maybe many more Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojanas, but do you think...
Exactly. On Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana, I calculated that if a ordinary house costs 5 lakh rupees, 900 people, 900 families would have got their house within 45 crore. 1,000 people approximately would have got a house.
Mr. Raghav Chadda, would you want to respond? Would you want to respond? This is not about corruption. This is about the promise made by Mr.
This is about
Arvind
corruption also. This is about corruption also, because corruption of character. You make some promises, you fall back on those promises. That is corruption. You are veiling, you are misleading people. We don't know. I mean, how can you do this? I just can't understand.
Mr. Raghav Chadda, would you want to respond?
May I respond to this?
Yes, please.
First of all, let me put this discussion in the right perspective. This is not Arvind Kejriwal's own personal property registered in his own name. This is the residence of the Chief Minister of Delhi, which the PWD department of the government of Delhi renovates from time to time. This time around, no renovation happened, but a reconstruction of the house happened, because this house was last constructed in the year 1942, roughly 80 years from now. And because the house had become inhabitable and was in a dilapidated state, where the roofs and the ceilings were caving in, including on more than three occasions, the roof fell, including in the Chief Minister's own parents' room, that the PWD department conducted an audit and came to the conclusion that this house is not anymore habitable, needs to be brought down and reconstructed. And as a result, the PWD department reconstructed it. Without getting into the figures, let me say this in no uncertain terms, that the house of the Chief Minister of Delhi is not the personal property of any Chief Minister. Every state and every state government's PWD department from time to time either reconstructs or upkeeps the official bungalows where the people of Delhi come and meet their ministers, chief ministers, so on and so forth. Point number one. Point number one. Two, the assessment whether an expenditure on a particular bungalow of a minister is high or low can only happen when you compare it with other expenditure. Because it's only then that when you compare the comparables that a logical conclusion can be drawn from the given circumstances and facts. Now I'll give you a few facts. The Honorable Prime Minister's new bungalow that is being constructed has been estimated to be constructed for roughly 500 crore rupees. Estimates are usually overtaken, and the actual cost is twice or thrice the amount of what is estimated. So let us assume that the Prime Minister's own house, which is being constructed as we speak, will cost roughly 1500 crore rupees. The Delhi Chief Minister's house that has been reconstructed is not even 3% of what the Prime Minister's expenditure is going to be. I understand the Prime Minister is a big office. He has several people visiting him. There is threat perception, so on and so forth. But the Chief Minister of a state cannot even spend 3%, or the PWD department of a state government cannot even spend 3% of what is being spent on the Prime Minister's house. That's point number one. Point number two, when do you wish to discuss about ostentatious expenditure? It is only fair that we discuss that a private jet was bought by the government of India to ferry the Prime Minister for 8,400 crore rupees. Shivraj Singh Chauhan spent 40 crore rupees in mere beautification of his house, not reconstruction, mere beautification of his house. And the most pertinent example, Navika ji, is the house of the Lieutenant Governor of Delhi, who stays a few hundred meters away from the Chief Minister's house in a sprawling bungalow of 6 acres. He spent 15 crore rupees in mere upkeep in the last few months. This is what must be compared with the reconstruction of the house
say you are
of
giving me
facts.
That
too by the PWD.
You say you are giving me facts, Raghav Chadda.
Lastly,
may I please halt you right there? May I halt you right there? You say this was reconstruction. You say this was reconstruction. I want to bring your attention to these documents which say addition and alteration. So firstly, the PWD department should not classify a reconstruction as an alteration to the bungalow. That is what it says. Alteration and the works that are going on. Number two, I want to ask you, I'm coming to you, Mr. Maken. Number two, I want to ask you, and I want to put there in public domain the question and the logic by Mr. Raghav Chadda. Mr. Raghav Chadda was saying that the chat gil jati hai.
Got the wrong papers.
I've got the wrong paper. Then please provide the right paper or the right visuals of the Chief Minister's house. Please, I'm sitting here absolutely happy to be corrected. Tell me all this is wrong and show me the interiors or show the Aam Aadmi ko interiors dikha dijiye. Doodh ka doodh, pani ka pani kar dijiye. Sawal, no, the second question I want to ask and I want to raise on this debate, and Ajay Maken, I will ask you that. Raghav Chadda ji says, 1 minute Raghav, let's maintain discipline. We are all civilized people. Mr. Ajay Maken, one question that he said was that the roof was giving in, the house was uninhabitable. Fair enough. Roof was giving in, so we bought marble worth 4 crore rupees. Logic?
And
Logic?
corridors.
Does that logic wash with you, Ajay Maken ji?
Well, first of all,
I'll respond.
let me speak something. As a former urban development minister and a former urban development minister who had prepared the master plan for Delhi, if Raghav Chadda is saying that it was not renovation, it has been built all over again, let me tell Raghav Chadda, this is totally illegal then, because in Lutyens Bungalows area and in such areas which were constructed by Britishers, and this Flagstaff Road is an area which is an old bungalow area which was constructed by the British. So new, fresh construction is not allowed on this street. So it has to be renovation. So you are technically wrong when you say that we have constructed all over again. It is not renovation. It has to be renovation. Because if you have constructed all over again, it is something which is illegal. I am telling you as a former urban development minister who prepared the master plan. I can give you the exact provisions of the master plan which prohibits you to construct all over again this bungalow. So it is renovation. So you have spent 45 crore rupees on renovation. Secondly, you have said that on this, you've said that the Prime Minister has spent, you've taken names of other chief ministers. Anyone can spend this much amount of money, but Mr. Kejriwal and you cannot spend this much amount of money. You can't spurge this much amount of money on your residents, and I'm telling you why. I've got in front of me, and I've tweeted also a copy of the affidavit, which Mr. Kejriwal himself signed in June 2013, just before the elections. And he has given 7 promises in this affidavit. And the third promise in this affidavit is, "मैं बड़ा बंगला नहीं लूंगा लूंगी, आम आदमी की तरह सामान्य घर में रहूंगा." So I just want to ask, because this was distributed in New Delhi Assembly constituency, which at that point in time was a part of my parliamentary constituency, and people used to come before me with this printed copy of Arvind Kejriwal's affidavit, which he himself, a sworn affidavit he gave to the people, and he said that मैं सामान्य घर में रहूंगा. A सामान्य घर requires 45 crore rupees worth of renovation. Is this the answer? Have you given this to the people of Delhi? People of Delhi, they gave you 67 seats out of 70, and you are giving this back to the people of Delhi. In this, you have said that मैं लाल बत्ती की गाड़ी नहीं लूंगा, मैं अपने लिए सुरक्षा नहीं लूंगा. Now tell me, are you not going back on the promises which you made yourself? You call yourself Aam Aadmi Party. Tell me which chief minister or which leader of Aam Aadmi has this audacity to spend 45 crore rupees on his houses renovation? You are Aam Aadmi, spending 45 crore rupees on your renovation, on your houses renovation.
Can I respond to this, Navika ji?
Your pearl marble stone. No one can imagine you pearl marble stone, and you have spent 45 crore rupees on such things, and then you are discussing these things here. It's a shame.
Well, I also want to tell you, Raghav Chadda ji, that in 2020, there was the Delhi Urban Arts Commission, which also raised objections to the reconstruction of this bungalow. Those objections still remain. What happens to those?
I will respond to this.
Yes, please. Go ahead.
I will just respond to what you have asked and what Ajay Maken ji has said. First of all, he claims that this is in violation of the master plan, and therefore it cannot be reconstructed, and if it has been reconstructed, it's an illegal construction. Let me bring this to Mr. Maken's knowledge that this is a construction of an official residence of the Chief Minister that has gone through the bylaws of MCD, approved by the MCD, where MCD has been run by the BJP for the last 15 years. It's only recently that we got into office.
I just said that you
it has been
construct
approved
afresh.
by the landowning authority, and it has been approved. Let me finish. Permit me to finish. It has been reconstructed, and this reconstruction has been approved by the MCD, which is run by the BJP, by the PWD department, which reports to the Lieutenant Governor, and the files from the Deputy Secretary up till the Lieutenant Governor have gone up and signed by them, because it's the official residence of the Chief Minister, and therefore this construction has been approved at every level. However, be that as it may, we can get into the nitty-gritties. Permit me to bring this to your notice that since everyone is discussing a dozen crores that have been spent by the PWD department on the renovation of a Sarkari Nivas, let me bring this to your notice that this is a work order of the Central Public Works Department that has done a renovation work and augmentation of office space at 7 Racecourse Road, which is the Prime Minister's official residence, where the estimated amount for this work is 27 crores, but the work done and the work allocated is for 90 crore rupees. This is one of the several work orders that I have with me, and I'm going to send it to you, Navika ji. So one small portion of the Prime Minister's residence is being renovated for 90 crore rupees, and the PWD department, on the other hand, of another state is reconstructing an 80-year-old house of the Chief Minister for mere 45 crore rupees. Now, I am not by any stretch of imagination saying that this is the personal property of any neta. This is the official residence of the Chief Minister. Whoever becomes the Chief Minister will stay in this bungalow. And having said that, a lot has been discussed about this, and I personally feel that this is a propaganda of the Bharatiya Janata Party so that the people of this country don't ask them questions on the real issues of a 45-year high unemployment, of a 30-year high inflation, of more than 30 farmers committing suicides in this country every day, and above all, their own chosen governor Satyapal Manik raising questions on how the Pulwama attack was used as for gaining political mileage by the BJP, and how corporate favors from seaports to electricity contracts have been given to friends of the BJP.
Let me take those questions
because they want to
Ms.
suppress
Meenakshi
this.
Lekhi.
Because they don't want these
Ms.
issues to come at
Meenakshi
the forefront, they're
Lekhi,
raising up these issues.
question is, can somebody justify curtains purchase for 1 crore rupees? The answer is, why don't you answer about charges by Satyapal Malik? The question is, why were 11 crore rupees spent on the interior, decorative pillars, etc.? The answer is, why don't you respond on the unemployment rate in the country? The question here is that it was Mr. Arvind Kejriwal. It wasn't Mr. Modi. It wasn't Mr. Shivraj Singh Chauhan. It wasn't Mamata Banerjee. Nobody came out and said, हमें इतना बड़ा मकान नहीं चाहिए. लालू प्रसाद यादव को पता होना चाहिए कि जो पेट्रोल उनकी सरकारी गाड़ी में डल रहा है वो जनता के पैसे का है. हम वैसे लोग नहीं हैं. हम इन चोरों की तरह अपना पॉलिटिक्स नहीं करेंगे. हम आम आदमी के लिए पॉलिटिक्स करेंगे. मीनाक्षी लेखी, ये तो किसने कहा था? केजरीवाल जी ने कहा था. आज देखने को क्या मिल रहा है? ये हाउ विल यू रिस्पॉन्ड?
Absolutely, Navika ji, you've raised a very pertinent question, and I would agree with what Mr. Maken has also said, that this particular area cannot be reconstructed, and in reconstruction you don't buy carpet worth 19 lakhs. In reconstruction you don't spend 45 lakhs on the curtains. In reconstruction, when the roof is leaking, you don't spend superior marble and showcase inferior character. The fact is that this, and your children's wardrobe, your father's wardrobe, your own room's wardrobe, a kitchen for 2 crores, these are the kind of expenses which have been incurred. Very clearly, this is a lavish expenditure by a person who came to power saying he's going to be Aam Aadmi. Aam Aadmi's expense on a 2-bedroom apartment, in reconstructing a whole bedroom with a kitchen and dining area, would be not more than 5 lakh rupees. And that's how the Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana homes get constructed, in which people get homes. Now, this gentleman did not apply Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana in Delhi. This gentleman did not apply Ayushman Bharat in Delhi, where the people of Delhi could have benefited. Everything they have touched has turned out to be a scam. Everything they have done is obfuscating the facts and misleading the people. Now imagine they were quoting Lieutenant Governor. Let me just bring to your notice, and Mr. Chadha can argue about this. 5-bedroom apartment, you spend 45 crore in 2 years. A 16-acre campus, which according to them, LG's residences, and a 15 crore gets spent. Now, I'm not justifying one or the other, but I'm just saying administrative head of Delhi versus elected by the people. So people who get elected have to conduct their business in a certain way because they come to power by making certain promises. And Mr. Maken has very rightly pointed out to the affidavit कि भाई ये नेता है, एक तो कह रहा है कि मैं तो गाड़ी नहीं लूंगा, बंगला नहीं लूंगा, तो इसको वोट देते हैं, बहुत ही बढ़िया आदमी है. लेकिन now here is a man who acts completely the opposite. हाथी के दांत दिखाने की और खाने की और. Now fact is that you made certain promises and Mr. Raghav Chadda is again misleading people by saying that the house was reconstructed. It is not reconstruction of the property. It is spending money on curtains, on flooring, superior marble, superior consultant, and again showcasing inferior human quality. And that is misleading, telling lies. That's the character.
Well, Mr. Raghav Chadda, the question here is not whether somebody should spend on an official residence or not. It's not my endeavor to raise that question. My endeavor is, bolo kuch karo kuch. The moral high ground always with you, but the practice and the reality is different, and that is the question. It's not me. There are questions coming from our viewers, and I can send you each one of these questions. These questions are for Mr. Arvind Kejriwal because he's set out to be a different politician. This is definitely not that politician that everybody expected him to be in 2012 during the Andolan of India against corruption.
Well, I certainly wish to say that the representative of the BJP has made an argument that because the Lieutenant Governor is selected and not elected, therefore he can spend the exchequer's money in whichever way we want. But the elected head, that is the Chief Minister, cannot. If we are comparing elected with elected, let me finish. If we are only on elected versus elected, let's compare sanity with vanity. Arvind Kejriwal's Sarkar's PWD department reconstructing a house for the Chief Minister, which is an 80-year-old house, which is not habitable anymore, is sanity. But spending 1,500 crores on building the Prime Minister's new bungalow is vanity. This is not sanity. And that is the limited point. There are elected representatives in this country that have gone on this ostentatious expenditure spree. From the Madhya Pradesh Chief Minister spending 40 crores on his bungalow, upkeep and renovation on his bungalow, to Vijay Rupani, the former Gujarat Chief Minister, buying a helicopter worth 191 crores. From the Prime Minister's own private jet costing 8,400 crore rupees to this 1 hour IIT inauguration in Karnataka done by the Prime Minister, which costed the exchequer 10 crore rupees for an hour. So therefore, I think we must have this discussion in perspective. And again,
perspective. You said perspective. I'm almost, your arguments almost remind me of the iconic film Diwar. It really reminds me of that. जाओ पहले उस आदमी का साइन लेके आओ जिसने स्मगलिंग पहली बार मुझे चोरी करवाई थी. जाओ पहले उस आदमी का साइन लेके आओ जिसने मेरे हाथ पे ये लिख दिया था, फिर मैं बताऊंगा. अरे, you said you're different from Shivraj Singh Chauhan, you're different from BJP, you're different from Congress, you're different from Lalu Prasad Yadav, and today who are your friends? And what are you saying? कि पहले उनसे पूछो फिर मुझसे पूछो. अरे भाई, आप तो अलग थे, इसीलिए लोगों ने आपको वोट दिया. अजय माकन जी, मुझे समझ नहीं आ रहा, बिकॉज मैं आम आदमी की रिप्रेजेंटेटिव हूं. इट्स माय जॉब टू आस्क दीज क्वेश्चंस. सो अजय माकन जी, माय क्वेश्चन टू यू इज कि मैं सवाल गलत पूछ रही हूं या मुझे इनकी जवाबों का जो मतलब है वो गलत समझ आ रहा है? दोनों में से दिक्कत क्या है?
देखिए, इनके पास कोई जवाब नहीं है, क्योंकि बहुत सीधे सीधे सवाल पूछे गए हैं कि जो वायदा इन्होंने किया वो वायदा क्यों नहीं, उससे पीछे क्यों हट गए. मैं नहीं समझता. मैं शीला जी के सरकार में था, शीला जी 15 साल मुख्यमंत्री रही. शीला जी को मिला लें, उनके छियों के छियों मंत्रिमंडल सदस्यों को मिला लें, 15 साल के अंदर मिलाकर के 45 करोड़ खर्च नहीं किए होंगे इन्होंने जो है अपने बंगले में. मुख्यमंत्री जी ने कहा, जो अपनी पार्टी का नाम, जिसको ये आम आदमी पार्टी कहते हैं, and this Aam Aadmi Party, they came to power on basis of these promises only. They said that they will be ordinary citizens because the netas, they splurge money, they spend much money on their security, they spend money on their houses. So this was the affidavit which was given by Kejriwal and his party and all MLAs. They distributed this affidavit, and that is how they were able to win 67 out of 70 seats. So when they have promised something and they are going back, so shouldn't these questions be asked? I must compliment Navika, your channel, for having taken out these revealing facts, because when I was told that 45 crore rupees has been spent on Kejriwal's residence, for once I never believed that so much amount of money, such a huge amount of money can be spent on such a small area.
It's a question, Mr. Raghav Chadha, please don't get me wrong. My question is only limited to the fact about what you stood for: morality, propriety in political life, and living up to the expectations of the janta that votes you to power. And my question is, can you put a hand on your heart and say कि कोविड में जब लोग मर रहे थे, जब मजदूर यहां से भाग रहे थे, जब ऑक्सीजन पे आपकी पार्टी इतनी ज्यादा बयानबाजी कर रही थी, उस सारे पीरियड में चल क्या रहा था, बन रहा था शीश महल? I want to ask you, can you put your hand on your heart and look me in the eye and look your voter in the eye and say this is okay, ये ठीक है, हमने जो भी किया वो गलत नहीं है, सही है?
Yes. First of all, this is an absolutely blatant lie and a malicious campaign unleashed by your channel to defame the Chief Minister. During COVID, there was a complete embargo on any construction activity anywhere, to a point where Central Vista, which was sanctioned, commissioned and was being constructed during COVID, also for a few days came to a grinding halt. Everything was shut. So therefore, this is an allegation that you please keep to yourself, treasure it, enjoy it. I don't want to waste my breath on answering this absolutely nonsensical question.
I'm sorry. When you call my question nonsensical, then please hold on, Raghav Chadha. You have called me a liar. I'm going to show you documents and I'm going to show you the dates of the documents. Please compare with the COVID calendar. Document number 1. Hold on, Raghav Chadha. Do not ever provoke me to show you facts. This is 1st of September. 1st of September 2020. 1st of September 2020. This is 10th of June 2021. And please tell me if COVID was still not there. This is 22nd of October 2021. It is there on the television screens, 2021. Tell me if COVID was not there. 30th December 2021. These are all documents that I have in my hand. Do not challenge me on facts, Mr. Raghav Chadha. Jitni aapki umr nahi hai, utna mera experience hai in getting out documents. Please do not challenge me. Do not challenge me on my documents. 29th of June 2022. All of these documents are for you to see. I can send them to you if you so want. Now challenge me on any other question, not on the date, sir. And please tell me, between September 2020 and June 2022, was COVID on in this country? Yes or no? Okay, was the Delta wave on? Yes or no? Just two questions.
First of all, you question us and challenge us every day. One retort that I made should not perturb you this much, Navika.
No, you question my facts,
you must understand.
My friend, you question my facts.
First of all, I am questioning, and I'm still questioning your facts. Let me finish my question, and I'm still on that point that this is an absolutely baseless, malicious, fabricated, frivolous allegation against my Chief Minister. I stand by it. Number 1. Number 2, mere document or an invoice of a particular product doesn't mean that any construction was going on during COVID. Everything came to a grinding halt. Lives and liberties of people came to a grinding halt. Central Vista's documents were commissioned and construction began in COVID. Even that came to a grinding halt. You know this, I know this. I don't have to prove it to you. We'll go to the people and we prove it to them. And therefore, I don't wish to indulge in this propaganda that you unleash on us every day. Your job and BJP's job may be to defame Arvind Kejriwal and remove him.
And your job is to make make
national
fake
politics,
promises.
But that's not going to happen. And let me put this in perspective. Let me finish. It is absolutely shocking that for the last 50 minutes I may be answering your questions, but the only matter today left to be discussed and debated on your national primetime television is for how many 100 rupees a carpet was purchased, or for how many
नहीं था ना भाई, 100 नहीं था, 20 लाख थे। 100 नहीं था, 20 लाख थे। मेरे लिए ज्यादा पैसे आपके लिए कम होंगे। It's a question of perspective. 20 lakh for carpets is a bit much for me. Maybe it's not much for you because you're Aam Aadmi. I am even lower from the Aam Aadmi. You are Aam Aadmi. आपके लिए 20 लाख चिल्लर होगा, मेरे लिए नहीं है। इसीलिए मैंने सवाल पूछा। हो सकता है मैं मूर्ख हूँ, हो सकता है मैं मूर्ख हूँ कि मुझे लगता है 4 करोड़ ज्यादा है मार्बल के लिए। क्यों मीनाक्षी लेखी जी 20 lakh rupees for carpets according to him is not a big deal. We are asking stupid propaganda questions, and he says that it's a lie. So all these clearances were happening when there was no construction. Then it's an even bigger question. If these clearances were happening and no construction was going on, then where was the money going? Where was the money going?
अगर 45 करोड़ रुपए को 5 कमरों से डिवाइड करो तो 9 करोड़ रुपया पर रूम स्पेंड हुआ है। 9 crores per room. And according to Mr. चड्ढा कि कोई कंस्ट्रक्शन नहीं हो सकता, कुछ नहीं हो सकता था, तो 9 करोड़ रुपया पर रूम कहाँ गया ये बताएं। If no construction was allowed, if nothing was happening at that time, during COVID, development activities were stood standstill. Where have 9 crores been spent? Because that means there was no construction. And this is precisely what I was saying. It is on one side, it appears to be a lavish living. On the other side, it could very well be a case of corruption, that actually this much money never got spent and all this is inflated.
Ajay Maken?
Well, I totally agree, because if suppose this money is not spent, no construction took place, so where has 45 crores gone? So again, if suppose no construction took place, so where is 45 crore rupees? So Satinder Jain should be asked, he should be probed again. So where is that 45 crore rupees? He says that, Raghav Chadda says that no construction took place. So if no construction took place, 45 crore rupees of bills you've got, which were paid. So this much amount of money has been paid. So where it has gone? But my basic question is, name of the party is Aam Aadmi. They came to power on the pretext of being an ordinary citizen. They gave sworn affidavit to people that they will live like ordinary citizen. And then Aam Aadmi is spending 45 crore rupees, as Meenakshi ji said, 9 crore rupees per room cost. And they call themselves Aam Aadmi. So this is for the people to decide, and people will decide. I'm sure people will decide what kind of party and what kind
Mr.
of...
Ajay Maken, I also went and interviewed Sheila Dikshit.
I have a solution.
I'm coming to you. Sheila Dikshit ji's residence, and if we can play out those pictures of this interview in 2013, I think around that election when Arvind Kejriwal was her challenger, she lived in a Lutyens Delhi bungalow, which was about 4,500 square feet big. Do you know the covered area of this, which I found in the document, which I don't know, but the document calls it 21,000 square feet. 5,000, 21,000. And then Mr. Arvind Kejriwal said that Sheila Dikshit was the worst ever chief minister, and all kinds of allegations. So Raghav Chadda, 21,000 square feet? Really?
Yes.
Aam Aadmi?
I have a solution to this entire problem, Navika ji. All of us, all of you, from Mr. Maken to Ms. Lekhi to you, all of you seem to be so perturbed today. I have a solution to offer, and I hope my solution will be accepted. And this solution may put this entire debate to rest. And my solution is, and I say this with full responsibility and authority at my command, that you please exchange Arvind Kejriwal's bungalow and give him the bungalow of either the Lieutenant Governor of Delhi or some union minister or the cabinet minister or the Prime Minister.
Is that the best logic?
And you can in
Is
return
that
take
the
this
best
bungalow.
logic you have?
If you think this bungalow is so lavish and so ostentatious, you exchange this bungalow And let LG,
I'm
let the
changing.
chief minister move to the
Raghav,
Lieutenant Governor's house.
I'm
And
not
let
in the
Lieutenant Governor or some
business.
BJP
I'm not in the
minister into this
business
house.
of allotting bungalows.
Please,
You know. So
by
Meenakshi
all
Lekhi,
means,
please,
I'm
please,
surprised.
Meenakshi Lekhi, please respond
I'm
to
so
it.
surprised.
I'm not in the
envious.
business. मैंने तो
I mean,
बंगलो देखा भी नहीं है.
I want
मैंने
to
तो
say
बंगलो
something
देखा नहीं है. आम आदमी तो फ्लैट में
नविका
रहता
जी,
है.
I wanted
आप
to
तो
say
कितनी
something
बार
on
आए
vanity.
इंटरव्यू लेने? आपने
You know,
जरूर
the
देखा होगा.
vanity
आपने देखा है वहाँ
is-
लाखों लोग
vanity
दिल्ली के
रहने
आते
के
हैं
लिए
रोज
नहीं
में.
देखा ना सर.
But
मीटिंग रूम देखा था जहां इंटरव्यू हुई थी. वो वाला मीटिंग.
आप कल आइए. नहीं, आप अपने मकान से एक्सचेंज कर लीजिए नविका जी. आप अपना घर
Raghav
देखिए.
ji, you
माफ-
should- you
माफ
should- you
कीजिए.
should
हम
have
आपके घर में
seen-
रहेंगे,
just
आप
मेरे
घर में
पसीने की मेहनत की कमाई मेरे पास रहने दीजिए.
Raghav ji, you should have seen Sheila Dixit's house.
अरे आप अपना घर
The
अपना
first
घर नहीं
one,
दे
I'm
रही.
telling
कमाल हो
you,
गया.
just a minute. The first one,
Well-
she first lived in 7AB Tilak Marg Road. So that was totally a different house, much smaller house, much smaller house than the second house when she shifted. And it was 7-8 years after being the chief minister that she shifted to a bigger house, and that also would not have been 21,000 square feet. So please don't compare with Sheila ji. Arvind Kejriwal is not even 1/100th of what Sheila ji was in terms of simplicity and in terms of honesty, and also in terms
Well,
of administrative
last I-
capability.
well,
Sheila
last
ji
I
से
remember,
आप compare मत करिए.
Well,
You know, I
नहीं,
wanted
मैं तो
to
मैं
say
कह रहा
one
हूँ
thing.
I'm just saying last I remember Sheila ji was perhaps staying at 3 Motilal Nehru Marg, which was the
which is the house I was talking about, but I've been to her. I have been to her house, opposite the Pragati Maidan, and that was much smaller. Ajay Maken ji is absolutely right. Much smaller, but that's not the point. That's not the point. Yes, we do not need to go there. The question, Raghav Chadda ji, the question is only one. The question is only one. Do you think 45 crores on the renovation of a chief minister's bungalow, a chief minister who always said that he was a representative, a real representative, one amongst them, that 45 crores, is that justified, is the only questions. बाकी लोग करते होंगे, पर उन्होंने कभी नहीं कहा था वो आम आदमी पार्टी के representative है.
Yes.
और affidavit भी नहीं दिया.
Right, I will answer that. I think it is absolutely correct and justified for the PWD department of the government of Delhi to spend 3% of the total money that is being spent on building the Prime Minister's new plush bungalow. I think 3% of what the Prime Minister spends on his bungalow is something that must be justified for the Chief Minister of any state to spend, or the government of any Chief Minister to spend on his bungalow. That's point number one. Point number two, again Navika ji, for once I am requesting you with folded hands, ask the BJP that it's not about reconstruction. On mere renovation work, Shivraj Singh Chauhan spent 40 crore rupees. Vijay Rupani spends 191 crore rupees on buying a chopper.
Meenakshi Lekhi, please respond. The question is constant. मैंने किया ये सवाल मत पूछो, उसने क्यों किया ये इसका जवाब दो. That is the question of Raghav Chadda. Respond.
नहीं, मुझसे तो आप पूछ ही नहीं है, थोड़ा उनसे भी पूछ लीजिए.
I was comparing Sheila ji's time when the advertising budget of Delhi used to be 28 crore and became 32 crore. That's the last budget of Delhi as a city. And please understand, Delhi is a city state. It's not a state like state. Delhi has less than 2 crore people in terms of voting percentage, 2.5 crore. Comparing it with any other state which has 10 crore, 20 crore people, which could be countries in their own right, is absolute wrong. Number one. So this gentleman comes and starts spending 524 crore on advertising. That is vanity. Spending 45 crore or so-called 45 crore, now that Mr. Chadda says that there was no construction allowed at that period, it makes me suspicious that maybe no construction actually happened. 9 crore per room on 5-room apartment, 45 crore gets spent. It's impossible. And that is precisely my question. That where did this money go? It's not about the amount. And if you see the methodology is also indicative of 8 crore plus 1 crore, 9 crore, 9 crore, 9 crore trenches. So there is probably something else happening at that.
Well, those questions
is
continue to be raised, and these are not questions that we are raising. These are questions that are being raised by the people of India, and it's just a thought that I want to leave with you, Mr. Raghav Chadha. आप प्रधानमंत्री आवाज से कम कंपैरिजन ही नहीं करते? अभी तो 2024 आना बाकी है. Let's see what happens then. The question will remain and the answers will be sought, Mr. Raghav Chadha, because that is the mood of the people today. Tomorrow, if the people stop asking these questions, I don't know. And I continue to say this, I'm not even raising the question of corruption. I'm only raising the question of hypocrisy. जो बोलते हो वो करो, बोलना कुछ दिखाना कुछ, सवाल पब्लिक का यही है, why not show what you are or not promise what you cannot deliver? That's where this debate will rest. As I thank all my guests, ladies and gentlemen, I also want to ask you questions that are being asked by people tonight. Not just about the expenditure, but the timing of the expenditure when Delhi, along with the rest of India, was in the throes of COVID. At that time, this money being sanctioned and spent on a upgrade, swanky upgrade at that is what pinches people. Take a look at this report.
The period between 2020 and 2022 is burnt into the memory of Delhiites. Queues of people seeking oxygen, beds in short supply, migrants fleeing after running out of money and food. At the time, something else was happening in Delhi. A renovation, a refurbishment, a redo. And it was being done for the man who runs Delhi, Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal. What's shocking is that when Delhi was suffering, money was being pumped into beautifying the Delhi Chief Minister's official residence. On the 1st of September 2020, the Delhi government sanctioned 7 crore 91 lakh rupees for the CM's residence to be renovated. This is when the country was battling the first wave of COVID. On the 8th of June 2021, an additional 1 crore 64 lakh rupees was sanctioned. This was when the second deadly COVID wave was at its peak. Remember, it's at this time when Delhi faced an acute oxygen crisis and migrants' exodus. A third tranche of 9 crores 9 lakhs were allocated on the 22nd of October 2021. At this time also, the fight against COVID wasn't over. For a party that has emphasized frugality as its calling card, this splurge and its timing is mind-boggling. What was the need for such major spending? What was the need for such expensive marble and carpets? What was the need? What was the urgency? The question then is simple. In the middle of a pandemic, what was the priority of the Delhi government? To save lives of the Aam Aadmi or to upgrade their own lives? Bureau Report, Times Now.